bill moving through Congress right now in an effort to give lawmakers a say in the Iran nuclear deal. Now, Tehran and 6 world powers reached a preliminary agreement Thursday and now have until June 30th to finalize it. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been a vocal opponent of the negotiations, says he's open to a deal, but the current agreement just isn't good enough.
I think there's still time to reach a good deal, a better deal. And I think what is required is to hold firm, to increase the pressures until a better deal is achieved, one that significantly rolls back Iran's nuclear infrastructure, and one that doesn't lift the restrictions on Iran's nuclear program, until they stop their aggression in the region.
The Fox News political insiders are here, and you can join the conversation on our Fox News social media pages and tweet me at Julie Banderas. John LeBoutelier, former Republican congressman for New York, Pat Cadell, a former pollster for President Jimmy Carter and Fox News contributor, and Doug Schoen, former pollster for President Bill Clinton and a Fox News contributor as well. Gentlemen, great to see you again.
Great to see you, Julie.
We just got this in. President Obama spoke with the New York Times regarding Benjamin Netanyahu's concerns, as we just heard there, and the United States concerns and Congress's concerns over perhaps his alienating Israel. And here is what he says. I would consider it to be a failure on my part, a fundamental failure of my presidency, if on my watch or as a consequence of the work that I've done, Israel was rendered more vulnerable. And I think that's not just a strategic failure. I think it would be a moral failure. Doug, let me start with you. Are we failing Israel by signing the deal that is currently on the table?
Well, it certainly seems to me that that's a real possibility, Julie. Look, President Obama is expressing sentiments that I'm sure all Americans share or should share. And certainly we as political insiders, I think, share those sentiments. But we, I think, as right-thinking Americans have real doubts about a deal that potentially allows Iran to cheat, to have a secret program. They have themselves in the past cheated. And candidly, we're in a position that, as the Prime Minister suggested in the soundbite you played, they have not renounced terrorism. They've not renounced their own commitment to destroy Israel, nor have they, stood down from doing work against our interests in the region and around the world. So I think there's much for Israel to be worried about in the deal. The words from the president are reassuring, but they're only words.
John, this is a preliminary deal. Many would call it a quasi-deal, if any deal. I mean, really, because it plays in the favor of Iran. I mean, it would limit Iran from enriching uranium. It would allow inspectors to have vast access to its nuclear facilities for the next 15 years. However, it allows some 5,000 centrifuges to remain open when originally they had talked about a couple hundred. I mean, is President Obama being handed a bad deal?
Well, first of all, he negotiated this deal. He was involved with every single bit of it, and that's been published, that it wasn't John Kerry by himself. He was on the phone every day to the president, who was very involved. On the initial question, President Obama today has weakened Israel by emboldening Iran through these talks. The neighborhood that Israel lives in is much less safe, much more unstable. Yeah, Israel is strong militarily through themselves, but they're much more vulnerable. The president, by his own standard, has already failed our ally, Israel.
Pat, in an interview, Netanyahu said they are getting a free path to the bomb. I mean, that says it all.
Well, I think so. I mean, first of all, the president, what he said today, he has these weird moments where he goes off script. That should be the epitaph of his administration. He has already left Israel hung out to dry here and in greater danger. Look, this deal, we don't even have a joint signed outline by the two powers. What does that tell you? We have the administration, which is known for prevaricating and exaggerating and, frankly, just lying, going out and claiming what's in the deal, except the Iranians say that's not. And we do know that what we do know, and it's very serious, is not a single structure of the nuclear infrastructure of Iran is being undone. They still getting ballistic missiles, and Iran is right. They're going to take the sanctions off. The president is, this is, my God, it's peace.
Right.
You know, it's peace again in our time, number 2.
Okay, but Republicans have every right to question his judgment. That's the whole point of Congress. And the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act of 2015 calls on the president to submit the final agreement to Congress within 5 days of it being signed. But here's what's a little scary to me. After the agreement was reached on Thursday, the president had this warning for Congress. Listen.
If Congress kills this deal, not based on expert analysis, and without offering any reasonable alternative, then it's the United States that will be blamed for the failure of diplomacy. International unity will collapse, and the path to conflict will widen.
The path to conflict will widen, John?
Well, first of all, maybe I'm off base here, but I don't think as of today Congress does have the ability to stop this agreement. That's why the president wants to not have it be voted on by Congress and take it to the UN to lift the sanctions even before Congress can really do anything about it.
But
so he's afraid of Congress. It goes to what Pat said. Why do we not know what was negotiated in Switzerland? We don't know anything. We haven't been told anything officially by any government. I mean, we have 6 governments on our side and the Iranians. So that's 7 governments and the EU, and nobody has told us one thing that's officially in this agreement. Why not?
But we do know who won, John, because we can see it in the streets of Tehran.
Yeah.
We hear it from Hamas, and you can see it by the silence of our Arab Gulf allies, France, and others who look at this and go, "Oh my gosh, it is as Churchill said, and we have only taken the first sip of a cup." He said this right after Munich, that we will be pro-offered year after year. This is a deal that is really a disaster. Our problem is in the United States is we're looking for a Churchill to challenge this president and what he says and his straw men that he creates. And they're leaving these negotiations to be led by the woman who did North Korea. What does that tell you?
All right. Jeffrey Gudgel on Twitter writes, making a nuke deal with Iran is akin to giving your child a loaded cocked gun and saying, don't shoot, just stupid. Doug, I'll give you the final word.
Well, I think that is true. We don't have, as John and Pat have said, we don't know the specifics of the deal. The Iranian protocol is different from the American protocol. We still have till June 30th, but at the very least, we need to know what's in the deal, and we should push for congressional ratification.
Doug, John, Pat, stand by. We'll be right back.